Those are the criteria that you have to meet to have a good project charter. And most of those criteria has already defined in the business case and the feasibility study. So in the project charter, you have to have the project vision and objective. And the question that I told you have to ask yourself, and the answer will be the project vision is what I am going to do. You have to be able to define exactly what do you want to do and make sure that the stakeholders understand clearly what you want to do. You have to put a lot of work. Sometimes you have to come with picture. You have to come with architect that do the design, because you have to, even if you're going to build a house or a building, you need to come with a blueprint that have a clear description of what you want to do. And the objective of the project is the scope of the project, every work package, everything that you have to do in order to realize that project. Those are the objectives that will lead to the completion of the project. And you have to establish the criteria for every deliverable. Every project deliverables need to be defined clearly, and it is recommended that project manager numbered, like number 1, this is what need to be done, number 2, this is what we're going to do, and this is what are the criteria of success for that objective. Number 3, this is what we're going to do, and those are the criteria to measure this project, this objective. Objective number 4, this is what we're going to do. Those are the criteria of success for that specific objective. Objective number 5, that you have to line up by number every objective. This is the scope of the project, and you have to identify all the stakeholders, the residents of the neighborhood, the city, the elected officials. No matter who will be affected, will have a concern, or will benefit of the project, you have to identify them. And you have to list the key responsibility of every group of stakeholders. Very, very important. And you have to create an organizational structure, because it's not like you will have to report to everyone. When you need money, you will have to go to anyone. So you have to give a responsibility to each stakeholder who is in charge of what in that project. That have to be established in the project charter. So when you need your check, you know who to call for the check. When you need tools or equipment, if you need, if the stakeholders say they're going to provide with you some support, when you need those support, you need to know who you're going to call for that specific support. You have to define the responsibilities, and you have to create an organizational structure to make sure that you know who is in charge of what role every key player is going to have in the realization of this project. And you have to document the overall implementation of the plan, and consider all the risks and assumptions. And when you need to have a risk management plan, you need to have a meeting where all the stakeholders will sit down in a room, and all your responsibility will be taking note. you're going to listen to every stakeholder that's going to bring on the table what they consider as a risk to that project. And any assumption they have, you have to listen to them and you have to record it. Then you're going to do an assessment. You and your team is going to sit down and try to figure out how to deal with the risks that you can deal with, how to avoid risks that you will not be able to deal with, or how to transfer risks that are potential you cannot avoid, but that can have a very negative impact on your project. So I said again, you have to listen to all stakeholders to make sure you record all the risks and all assumptions. All the risks. Now you're going to do a risk assessment to find out which one of those risks stated that are likely to happen. If they happen, what will be the impact on the project? And you're going to prioritize the risks that you can deal with, risks that you can avoid, and risks that need to be transferred. So this is very important. You have to do that in the project charter during the phase where you're working on the project charter. And at the end of all of this, you have all this big package. They are one sheet that is very important that you have to prepare and have the stakeholders that have the authority, the sponsor, sign that paper, and that paper have to list your name as the project manager, and that paper will give a name to the specific project. This is not a contract, but this paper will give you, the project manager, the authority to get seed money to set up your team and to set up your project office. And this is very important, because if you work in a company and you go to the accounting department or the financial department, you said, I want 3 chalk. Each will cost $45,000. The guy will say, what? I don't have anything like this in my budget. I'm not going to give you that money. But if in the project charter you already have that authority, they know you're going to need those 3 chalk. Nobody can stop them from giving it to you. So for that reason, I'm saying the project charter is not a contract, but a project charter gives you the authority to execute your project without having anybody stop in your way. And don't forget, a project has a time to begin, a time to end, and a budget. A time to begin, a time to end, and a budget. This is the way, at the end of the project, they're going to decide whether or not it is a successful project or a failed project. If your project does not finish on time, it is a failed project. If your project does not present the quality expected by the stakeholders, the quality based on the criteria of success that was established during project initiating, this is a failed project. And if you have to go back to the sponsor to ask for $5,000 or $10,000 more to complete the project, this is a failed project, because the project has to finish on time, has to meet the quality expected by the stakeholders, and the project must finish with the budget that you propose. So let me recap a little bit about the project charter. You have to define the vision and objective of the project. You have to present the project scope, which is everything that you have to accomplish in order to finish the project. You have to list all the critical project deliverables, everything that the project has to present. You have to identify all the stakeholders, everyone that the project will affect, anyone that will be affected by the project, anyone that will profit of the project, anyone that have a stake in that project. So you have to make sure you list all the stakeholders, and you have to make sure you state what will be the role of every one of the stakeholders, and you have to establish an organizational structure. You have to have a good organization for the project, and you have to consider always an assumption. Then you have a project charter.